With the holidays approaching, it can be a very difficult time to get dinner on the table and not get takeout. So I'm sharing with you the way that I meal plan that works for us and that has been very helpful with scratch cooking. So this particular week, we had a little staycation the week prior, and I had pretty much stocked the fridge and our inventory that I like to have on hand for all of our meals, but we did not do a ton of cooking. I actually got sick and we were gone a decent bit and really just kind of scrounged the whole week. It was a bit ridiculous and kind of fun. So we have plenty of fruit left and a lot of veggies. I really just need to fill in a few little gaps to get us through this week, and I want to share with you how I do that. I'm sure by now most people have heard of shelf cooking or shopping your fridge. I've heard it called so many different things, and I do that on a weekly basis. This is something that with scratch cooking became a little difficult for me at first. I was used to looking at the ingredients that I had on hand and then searching Pinterest for a recipe of some sort. And, what cans do I need? Do I need, a new spice or something like that? And when I started scratch cooking, I just found myself a little lost on how to tackle that while utilizing the things that were already in my refrigerator and keeping things interesting. So it took a little while to master, but I came up with a way that does work for my family, keeps things interesting. Okay, so this normally ends up happening at the beginning of the week in the morning. I have my little buddy there. She is always by my side in the early morning, so she gets to join the little me time that I have then, and that's totally fine with me. But I start it off in the early morning to just kind of be able to gather my thoughts. I go through all my inventory, decide what I'm going to make, and just start filling in the gaps. So something that I do that has allowed things to be more flexible and interesting is coming up with as many ideas as I can for what I already have on hand, because sometimes, inspiration strikes and I will just go to town on whatever kind of dinner sounds good for the evening, and sometimes it's just a struggle. Sometimes, I've been very preoccupied and I'm like, we just need to eat. So I love having this list in a pinch. So something that I will do when I am making my meal list is just kind of going through the week and the upcoming week, seeing what is going on. We have different things going on through the week, different days or different schedules, and so I will check it off if there's anything we are doing that evening, just to see if I need to maybe do a crock pot type meal or make something ahead and just plan on heating it up on the stove when we get home. Depending on what's going on, that will kind of shape my meal list for the week and different ideas, because if we're going to be having a busy day of being out of the house, I don't want to plan to make homemade noodles or something that's labor intensive, or I can make sure I have those ahead of time so that those are ready. So just going through our week and kind of popping in those meals where I think they will work best does definitely help have success with this style of meal planning.
so with the inventory list I do have, it looks like we are going to be getting a fairly small haul today, which is great because of last week and not cooking a whole ton. We have some stuff left over and some things we need to use up. We were working on leftovers some last week as well, so there's not a ton, but there's enough, and I will try to keep things kind of small this week. For me, when I record this, next week is Thanksgiving, and so we'll be cooking a lot extra that week, and I would love to just save some funds for next week to utilize then when we need it a little bit more versus this week. We have a fairly normal / busy week this week, so it shouldn't be anything major to keep things a little cheaper this week. Another reason I don't want to be overbuying either is because we have finally been able to locate a farm to get a quarter cow from. We're starting out with a quarter cow just because we want to kind of sample the different meat, see the process since we haven't gotten a quarter cow before, and see how much fits in our deep freezer. We have 2 deep freezers, and one I utilize for usually all of our meats, and then the other one like for frozen fruit or ice cream or things like that that are not our meat items or overflow if need be. So with this quarter cow, we're just going to kind of sample the meat, see how it tastes. If we like everything, we will plan on either getting a whole or half cow next time, depending on how long this quarter cow takes to get through and how much we like it. So I did not get to get all of the selections I would like to with this quarter cow, so not as many bones for bone broth and organ meats and stuff that I would like. So hopefully we'll get to do that next time. I don't know how much more space I would need for that. Hopefully no more than I have. If we do get it, I will just make it happen because we have our regular freezer that's, you know, attached to the fridge, and then 2 decent size freezers. So I think we'll be able to make it happen, but because of that, I don't want to be stocking the deep freezer with meat from the grocery store. So I'm trying to limit that and just keep things kind of cleared out for when we do get the call to get that meat. And it should be any day now. It's been a few, so I'm really excited.
So like I said, when I began scratch cooking, there was a little bit of a learning curve. And now, since I've come to the point where I keep a certain amount of staples on hand and different vegetables and things that we use in almost every meal, it is basically like a blueprint for a good meal each time. Your, blend of onion and garlic and celery or different root vegetables, these things are incorporated in most of our meals. And really that is how simplifying our meals has kind of gone into many areas of our life. For instance, we're having a very easy breakfast this morning for the kids. I'm just doing like granola bowls, like homemade cereal basically, and adding in some fruit and making them some chocolate milk because I'm still not done trying to plan and make our list for our trip later that day. And so I just try to keep things really simple and not overcomplicate unnecessarily when I know it's going to be a really busy day. And it's something that I want to get done as quickly as I can, but it does take a few to just kind of think through everything so that I know I am not going to be wasting food and I am thinking through everything. I've actually come a long way because I used to be the person that when I was in my career, I would make a whole spreadsheet of what we were going to eat that week and the different things I wanted to try and what all I had on hand and what all I was going to add. So I've come very far, and life with children and being a stay-at-home mom has definitely changed my style of planning, but I still have that personality where I do enjoy planning things out. I like knowing what's coming ahead and what to expect if I can, or at least being prepared for what is coming and maybe unexpected. Something that was a little difficult at first for me with scratch cooking was just not really feeling like I could get as creative because I hadn't mastered those certain ingredients and really developed flavors with herbs and spices yet. And with kind of experimenting like that, it really made simple meals become different each time and super enjoyable, even though they didn't have to be really complicated. I actually used to have a food blog and recipes would be a bit tedious. This was before children. And I really enjoyed the process and everything that came from that and the experience. But my style of cooking to me is much more realistic now and has allowed me to not have near as much waste and just not be so extravagant, but still incredibly delicious each time. Obviously, a part of a good, successful planning and trip to the store day would be making my coffee. I'm teaching my daughter Young here the importance of coffee and quality coffee. And so I'm just making my latte here so that I can just be able to relax through a busy day and enjoy myself, just have a few minutes to myself. However, you don't need to ever expect latte art here because I don't even try because it's that bad. So I do like starting our mornings with some of our little homeschooling, which I use that word kind of loosely. We aren't officially beginning homeschooling until next year with my oldest, but we kind of are doing a soft start, which has been really helpful to incorporate that in our mornings now and just kind of get ourselves geared up for the next year and what it is like to add that into our schedule. So it's been great. And also allowed us to be more intentional about scheduling our days and our routines to still incorporate these things even on busy days.
All right, a little help with me. She has been teething lately and is not wanting to be put down, so she's just going to join us. All right, I'm just gonna run through some of the recipes that I just did come up with, not recipes, ideas. So these all are using things we already have on hand, about 90%. Like I might need one ingredient to kind of complete these meals. And usually that ingredient is something I already keep in stock, like in my regular inventory to have for meals that usually utilize that kind of stuff that we use on a daily basis or weekly basis. So I got squash soup. I'm thinking that with like sandwiches or grilled cheese or something like that, just like a paired meal, either dinner or like a heavier lunch. And then I've never done like a French dip type sandwich, roast sandwich. We've done roast sandwiches before, but not like the French dip with it. So I'm gonna try that because we have everything except for some beef stock. I haven't got any kind of beef bones yet, so we're just going to get some beef stock because then that makes a whole nother meal. I can make the sourdough rolls for that, or even just regular rolls if I have them. And then chicken noodle soup. I'll make some noodles. I have everything else. I have some chicken left over from a rotisserie in there. Well, not a rotisserie. I made a chicken, and there's enough chicken left where I can do a soup. I will do a regular meal with the chicken that I have because it wouldn't be quite enough, but with a soup it will be plenty. Sloppy joes. We have tons of beef right now, ground beef like stored up. So I will do the sloppy joes or just have it as an idea in case I need to do that instead of one of the other things that I mentioned. That's something that I do, is kind of come up with a list of as many meals as I can with what I have. Let's see if I can get a quick minute to finish this. So meatloaf, that's one that's kind of always easy with ground beef, but goes a long way. So you can usually get through at least 2 meals with that, or maybe lunches and 1 dinner. For my crock pot meal, we do have something going on in the evening a couple nights this week. So my crock pot meal this week is going to be lasagna. I'm going to just get some lasagna noodles. I could make them. I'm not going to. So we have everything else we need for that. I just need some lasagna noodles. So we'll grab those. I want to do a potato soup at some point. Probably pair it with a sandwich of sorts. Tonight we're having sandwiches because we are going to be traveling tonight to look at some land. We've been doing that a lot lately. No success there yet, but we are looking at it. So we won't be around for dinner, and I'll grab something for us to take with us. Lots of sandwiches this week. When I say sandwiches, we do get deli meat on occasion. We can get some pretty decent quality deli meat at Aldi. So we get that. We'll do chicken sandwiches. Like if we have a leftover chicken, just throw some chicken on there, mustard or barbecue sauce. We keep those things stocked. Grilled cheese, anything like that we can make a sandwich out of. I would like to do another crock pot meal, possibly a chicken wild rice soup, which may turn into chicken rice soup if we can't find any wild rice at Aldi. So if they don't have that, we'll just do chicken rice soup, which is just fine. The wild kind of adds like a little nutty flavor and it's colorful. So we'll try. If not, no big deal. And then ground beef tacos. We have, like I said, so much ground beef. So I'm trying to kind of focus on more of that than doing as much chicken. I am picking up a chicken this week. I just try to kind of pick up one a week to have stocked because we only have one in the freezer right now. We are going to head out, get these few little things on my list, just a few little extras, like a couple things that we use on a daily basis, and then I'll share that with you. We will see how this goes. Teething baby and 2 young children braving Aldi. Very close to lunchtime.
And this grocery run was not going to be complete without my hot tea for the day. So I started out with that. Definitely follow me for parenting advice, guys. We've got it figured out around here. Well, that was quite an adventure. Everything's pretty crazy right now. Holidays have already begun. And I'm reminded of why we choose grocery pickup so frequently.
All right, here's everything I got for $99. Not much here, but this is going to, I believe, get us through the week, which is great. Not too bad. Some decent quality items in here and some not so decent quality. Some of these things we don't normally get, but because of the time and the busyness, that we have going on this week. I made an exception. I find hauls kind of entertaining, so I am going to share this, but I'm not going to like touch every item or anything, so y'all have to forgive me for that. But we got some bacon here that I like using as a quick meat for dinner if need be. Deli for our different sandwiches. Got a chicken here. I was talking about stocking up on that, so I got one of those. We haven't gotten an Azure standard order in a couple months, and so I need to restock on that. So we just got this to get us through. The lasagna will be good for that crock-pot meal I was talking about. I need to stock up on bananas. It's not coming through like how green these things were. It's gonna be a little while, but it's okay. We need them. We do a lot of adrenal cocktails, and we just love orange juice. So those, that's why we have so many of those. Got some organic apples. I love Good Culture cottage cheese. It's the best cottage cheese out there, but I'm not gonna make a trip for that this week. So we just got regular old cottage cheese. I need to restock on my good quality raw honey, but this is what Aldi had, so we're going for that for now. We needed some strawberry jelly, but that was nowhere to be found for some reason, the organic kind at least. And so kids have never tried sweet orange marmalade, so we are going to try that. And then just some other items to fill in. There's some of the stock that I like keeping. I believe there's supposed to be another one of these. I'm gonna have to find that. It might be in the car. And then the beef broth for the French onion dip sandwiches I mentioned. So not too bad, but inflation is real, guys. It's really sad.
Well, until we do get our land, I do try to give our chickens a little treat each week. A cabbage, they love pecking at the cabbage. Keeps them entertained and gives them some greens. And it really just reminds me of good old school tetherball and cracks me up. Like I mentioned, we were planning on having sandwiches this evening, but I did not have any sandwich bread made yet, so I went ahead and got started with that. And I ended up using half regular flour and half corn flour this time because I was too lazy to go restock our organic all-purpose. So I had corn flour ready in the cabinet, and it actually turned out really good. It kind of rose the same way and cooked the same way, but had a little bit of a cornbread hint to the English muffins. And this is one of those recipes where it was probably one of the first successful sourdough recipes I had when I first began doing sourdough. It's fairly simple and straightforward, and it's just one of those things that always turns out as long as you mix your ingredients well after the ferment. Early on, I would mix in my baking soda and my honey and wouldn't mix it quite long enough, and we would get these really good English muffins that occasionally were really bad for different bites because there would be bits and pieces of baking soda throughout it. So just make sure you mix that up really well and shouldn't be an issue. to go look at this land this evening. And I tell you what, once you get the land bug, there's no getting rid of it, because I just enjoy these walks that we get to take, even on these properties that don't end up being the one we pick. This one was not this evening, but it was beautiful, and it's just nice to smell that fresh air, and it really does smell different than our own little backyard in our neighborhood. It's pretty addicting. So we did enjoy this stroll for the evening, and hope to find our little land soon, hopefully. But until then, we will just keep looking. Alright, well, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed me taking you along, and we'll see you next time.